Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the All Purpose Pod for an All Purpose Life, wherever you are and however you're hearing me. Call me Mr. U in 2024, baby. Thank you for joining us. Herb and Raj podcast in the house. Football talk with Bo. Good morning, gentlemen.
How's it going, guys?
Good morning. Good morning.
Is it a happy new year so far?
No.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on, man. You alive? I can see you, man. My brother is here, man. This is great news.
Yep.
Imagine if you weren't here, how I feel. Think about me for one.
Michigan's playing tonight, so you probably wouldn't even notice.
I would notice.
You'd be like, "Hey, Bo, wasn't there another guy that used to be on the show, Herman or something?" I miss Herman. Herman was a good guy.
I don't even like anybody named Herman. I like Herb. Oh my God, man. Come on, man. Good to see you guys this morning, man. Hey, you know what? We got a lot to talk about. It's a full slate today, so we're gonna have fun with it. But guess what? I got a little bit of a beef here with this pick 'em pool that we in together. And I got me a little bit of a beef with this thing, man. Hey, my phone blows up for everything. I'm talking about emails, texts, everything.
Yep.
Companies trying to get me to buy stuff, people trying to solicit me, telemarketers, everything. Why can't I get notifications for this pool? I get it for everything else in the world.
I mean, you can turn them on.
No, they're already on, bro. I don't get anything.
Hand me your phone real quick. I'll check.
Right?
No, I'm tech savvy. It's not happening. It's on.
I mean,
nobody tells me trying to make my picks. I need a reminder, bro. I made them this time, but I look back and look at all these guys who made no picks for like 4 weeks in a row. I'm like, I shouldn't be near the bottom of this pool.
I mean, at the end of the day, I have an entire show about it.
What that got to do with our pick'em pool, man? Nada.
That's
nothing.
what the show is about, is the pick'em. It's to remind you to make your picks and what my picks are going to be.
Show it to remind me.
That's as big as a reminder as you.
When did your show come on for the pick'em?
First thing in the morning, Thursday. Just before the picks lock.
That's awfully convenient.
Yeah. Just before the picks lock. I like how you added that part in. That's really
no, because the picks lock. Well, I mean, they didn't this week because there wasn't Thursday Night Football. So basically, the picks would lock 5 minutes before the first game, right? So during most of the season, you have Thursday Night Football. So at Thursday night, 5 minutes before the game, the picks lock. That morning is when I do my pick'em show. So that is the nice. That is get your picks locked in. It's the last day. I don't know. I can't babysit. I got stuff going on.
Babysit? Dude, I ain't asking you for no baba.
But honestly, it's the first year I've used the CBS app for this, so I'm not exactly sure how everything was being sent out.
I would think we make our picks on Tuesday, right? Right after the last game of the week.
Yeah, but you have until 5 minutes before the first game, is what he's saying. Yeah. So that's your reminder.
Basically, soon as it opens up on Tuesday,
real fast, didn't it? Herb just turned on me like he was on my side for me.
Well, no. So
how is explaining something to you? If you don't want me to explain something, don't ask no questions. All right, just for that right there, no, I will answer no questions. I got you. I'll get a clarification. Hey, am I allowed to answer this question?
Man, go ahead, and drink some more of that Baby Yoda cup, man. So you can drop your mind right. Yeah, do that.
But no, so how
my man asked a question out loud and get mad at the answer.
Yeah, right. No, but the way I've done it every week. The way I've done it every week is I do my picks soon as it opens up on Tuesday. And then if there's any changes I want to make, like someone gets hurt or someone's not practicing or whatever, then because it doesn't lock until 5 minutes before, I finalize my pick in the morning because I have the show. But you have up until that night to fix them. Or
I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. But I need a little help.
So set a
reminder. I ain't saying I'm busier than the rest of y'all. I'm not saying that, but I need a little help. And I don't understand how CBS Sports. I'm saying the name on the air. I guess here we are. It's all out in the open. But I get notifications for everything. Somebody got hurt. Kicker went down. I get everything. This game's going to be on at this time. What I can use help with this too. I tell you what, if you do this again next year, I promise you, I'm going to be in the top 5 next year.
Probably.
I ain't going to be down here at the bottom. This is never going to happen again. This is embarrassing.
Well, I mean, you started late.
I did start late, but I should still be way past folks that haven't made any picks for like 4 or 5 weeks. I shouldn't even be in the zip code. That is what it is, man. But you guys are excited about football. I know you are because I've been hearing all about this. Even Herb, despite his social media comments, he still loves football.
I'm excited about finding a pickleball team to follow. Football is a barbaric sport.
There ain't none.
I do not condone it.
Doesn't Durant and LeBron own one?
Yep, and Tom Brady. So
this is ridiculous because you love the NFL, and I don't know why you're even doing all this stuff. Let's just talk. Let's get back to football. What we love. You know what? How about you start off with some predictions? All right. Help us out with the game coming on tonight, Herb. Since you want to, help us out. How you feeling about tonight?
I'm not even sure I'm gonna watch tonight. That's how I feel about tonight. So,
Herb, you stop it.
Drinking a full glass of that Haterade. What are we doing?
Well, it's not Haterade. It's Herderade. So.
we need your unbiased opinion.
I don't have an unbiased opinion.
You do the same for you.
Everything about football. I mean, so look. The way this game goes, it's obviously got 2 contrasting styles, right? And you go. This is where they bring out the cliche: styles meets fights, right? If Michigan can slow the game down, lean on the running game, lead on the defense, and make timely plays, they're going to win. Michigan, I mean, if Washington can speed the game up, Penix can hit a couple passes, let those receivers make some plays, open the game up early, Washington wins. I mean, I hate to break it down like that simple, but whichever team dictates it. Like, I just don't see Washington winning like a 17-10 game. Could they? Yeah, absolutely. Could Michigan win like a 35-30 game? But I don't see those 2 outcomes. Lower scoring, I think, favors Michigan. Higher scoring favors Washington, and that's how I feel 100% on it. I
mean, that's fair and it's accurate.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm saying this without sounding biased because I don't want to come off that way, but it feels like a misconception about both teams. That Michigan can't score a lot of points, and that Washington doesn't have any kind of defensive prowess. I don't think those 2 things are true.
Right.
So this game could be surprise in on either side of the offensive or defensive spectrum. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm saying I know they got over under like 56.5 points.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
with Michigan favored, so they do expect Michigan to score a bunch of points. And to your point on that one, I think there's 2 things also at work. Washington plays fast on offense, so their defense is back on the field a number of times. And I say this because we've gone through this in Alabama. People are like, the defense isn't as good as past years. I said, maybe not, but they're also out there a lot. So Washington is in a position where they're either going to score quickly a lot of times or 3 and out, and the defense is back on there. More possessions, more points, the other team's going to have the ball. On the Michigan side of it, I don't know if it's just coaching, but they have clamped down because J.J. McCarthy was a Heisman candidate, earlier on in the year. And then we went through several games where it's like the coaching staff did not trust him to do anything. So I just don't think you've seen the best of him in a lot of games. Like the second half of the Penn State game, they were like, just basically throw out the whole passing playbook. We're going to win this, another way. So the man can make plays when it comes to it. So Michigan can score. I don't know if it's a lack of trust in him or the coaching staff just changing things or maybe holding stuff back. I have no idea because, I don't watch Michigan that closely. But it's like they have clamped down on him for a lot of times, So I don't know.
I'll give my best guess. I mean, I've watched every single game. I'm obviously a diehard fan of the team. I don't think that they don't trust him to do it. I think they capitalize on what works and they just run it down the opposing team's throat until you can stop it. I mean, he was a manager for a lot of games. I'm like, people who want, some college football fans, they don't care about the X's and O's. They care about all of the big numbers, the air raid, guys scoring 100 points, that kind of thing. And that's not what we need to do in a lot of cases. So I think that they emphasized the running game because it was working and nobody was stopping too. So he was just running, and it's like, why do anything else? You can't stop this. This is essentially uncontested points for us. Why not keep doing that? So that's what I think is going on. I don't think it's not a trust thing because we have to open it up, or there's an issue with the running game and we get stopped up and face a really good defense. Like kind of what happened with Alabama. We had to do some things in the air. We had to throw the ball more. So it's like, I don't think it's a trust thing. I think it's just more like a scheme type of situation. But the opportunities that's there, that's what I think from what I see with my eyes. I'm not an expert, but it feels that way. What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I mean, it is one where it's strength versus strength, right? Like Michigan has a good, a great defense, right? Washington has one of the better scoring offenses, right? And then you go to the other side, Michigan lacks a little bit on the offensive side. The running game is fantastic. That's where this can get interesting because Washington hasn't been great against the run throughout the season. But what they'll probably do schematically is they probably do what they did to Oregon, where they'll bring a guy down, they'll stack the box, and they'll dare you to beat you over the top, right? So they'll use the secondary that is decent, and they'll bring some help down to help in that run game that they understand they're not great at, and they're going to treat it like they did Oregon, and dare Bo Nix to do it. So in this case, it'd be JJ, right? So it's going to be a fun game to watch. But like Herb said in the beginning, if it's a low-scoring game, that definitely favors Michigan because that means their running game's working. That means that Washington offense isn't on the field. When they're not on the field a lot, they don't necessarily get that rhythm going. You get Washington in a nice rhythm on offense, it's a problem. On the other side, if it's a shootout, do I think that, if you're stacking quarterback to quarterback, I think Penix has the advantage there. So that's why, I think they end up – I went Washington here 35-31, but if it's a low-scoring game, right, if it's like a 24-17 or 24-20 or something, that probably favors Michigan.
Okay. I'm surprised you picked Washington. It's like, okay. Not real with the feather. I'm not shocked by that at all.
No, so the thing that's funny is it's not even really the homer pick. It's just they've really come up every time they've been just absolutely billed as the underdog all year. Like every time they're like, oh, these guys don't have a shot, they show out. And here they are again.
Yeah. So Oregon and Texas being the most recent.
Yeah, Oregon twice.
I hear the numbers. I mean, Vegas put them out there. It's 4.5. We see it, but everywhere I look, all I hear is Washington. Everywhere I'm looking at, I don't even hear people talking about, we think Michigan can win outright. No, all I'm hearing is Washington with numbers like that, 35-31. That's one of the ones I've seen multiple times within the past 24 hours. I don't see a lot of folks saying, Michigan's going to just.
When you look at most of the analysts picking, most of them are taking Michigan.
No, they're not.
Well, then that's a change because they
Washington all over the place. Sports line, all these places are saying Michigan's going to lose by about the margin. We're talking about 3 or 4 points. I'm like, I don't. And these are the so-called experts that have been doing it for a long period of time or whatever.
This should be a close game, though. I mean, both of these teams are stacked. Like this should be a fun watch. Either way, whether your team wins or loses, like this should be a good football game.
I'm hard pressed to do predictions. I'm in a precarious position because I mean, like I said, I've been with this team for a long time. I mean, I ain't been there since the 1900s. I wasn't born that long, but I've been there since '84. Been rolling with these guys since then, and it's like the last time we saw anything like this was '97 with the whole Nebraska timeshare that we were doing out there. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But I don't know. I don't know how to predict this. I think that if we play the game that I know we can play, we're gonna win this game.
Sure.
But as far as numbers and stuff, I got nothing, man. I'm glad you offered some numbers because I got 0. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you definitely Michigan definitely has the best shot if they get that running game going, because that's something Washington has not done well defending all season.
There's some O-line issues there that people, some people are talking about, but some are not on the Washington side.
Well, Michigan has the better line on both sides of the ball. So you actually have a better O-line and D-line. It's the skill players that Washington has an advantage on. And, on the offensive side, them lacking a little bit on the O-line isn't the end of the world because of how fast Penix can get the ball out. So, he's incredibly efficient in that way. And that's helpful when you have an offensive line that, let's be honest, it's not a top tier unit in college football. So it's average. It's not horrible or anything, but it's not elite either. So the fact that his delivery is quick is good. Obviously the fact that it has to be quick is a little bit of a problem because it means he also doesn't have time to get through reads. So sometimes it's a 1-2 progression and then, you're throwing it away or whatever, because it's not like he's going to runs against you or anything like that.
But there's a lot of matchups out there that we can probably talk about. I don't think we should do that today. We got this up on the docket, but I'll say this. I'm excited about our secondary up against their wide receivers. Not because I think they're both dominant in what they do.
Sure.
It's going to be a very, very, very good 50-50 proposition, if you want to call it that. I like Will Johnson and Mikey S back there. I like what we bring to the table. These guys are veterans who they've been there for a while. I'm excited about that aspect of the matchup. I don't think it's going to be, that could be a difference maker there.
No, definitely. I mean, that's the best thing is everywhere you look on this field is a matchup where you're like, oh man, it's going to be fun to watch.
Who's defending Colston? You know what I'm saying? I see a whole bunch of different matchups. I'm like, wow, this could be really good. But we'll see how that works. And Barner too, for that matter, if you want to go there. All right, end of the 14 college football player. We've been talking about it for a little bit. We're going to 12 teams. I made the mistake of going down a rabbit hole. I didn't know there was no sign that said rabbit hole. I just kind of started reading stuff and looking at numbers and didn't know how I got here and how to get back out. You know what I'm saying?
There was little signs that said "eat me and drink me," and it doesn't work out very well.
No, there was no signs at all. It was just like a sign that had the arrow keep pointing, like keep going further, and I couldn't find my way back out. I couldn't find the breadcrumbs. But this is weird because this is what people have been complaining about, and now they have it. I think they're gonna be complaining even more now because it's kind of weird what they got going on. They got the 4 highest ranking teams. They're gonna get a bye in the first round. I guess 6 teams that are the highest ranking get invited to the playoff at all. And then I'm trying to understand some of this stuff. The teams that are in the first round, the lowest ranked team gets to pick the venue. If I got that right, I'm like, why? To give them a more competitive advantage. I don't get that part. That
can't be how that's going to go down.
That's what they're saying.
No. I saw the article you sent, but there's no way that's going to work that way because these bowl games are sponsorship based, right? And if they're going to want to know who's coming, right?
I mean, well,
they're not going to want to be like.
Well, you're saying like with their choices, their home field or another venue, and so I think they'll just end up choosing their home field. I think in that the case, to Bo's point, I think what you're saying is they won't pick like the the Rose Bowl or something at random, like with only a couple weeks notice.
They're the lowest. They're the lowest seed, so they're probably looking for any kind of advantage they can find. They're going to find them. They go for the home advantage where all their fans are.
That's what I would say. I think you're just going to play it at home, take another, take that money and everything. So
it's just weird that they put an option out here for this. I'm like,
what? Yeah. There's no way there's no way that's how it ends up because there's too many sponsorship dollars in these bowl games for it to just be at some random stadium. NCAA is going to want to control that.
Yeah, and then they're talking about rotating the quarterfinals. I'm like, I got lost in this thing. I'm like, I'm good at math, but I'm lost. I don't understand what's happening.
That one's weird because then all of a sudden you're like the Rose Bowl 1 year is is the finals, and then one time it's a quarterfinal. So like your bowl games don't even mean the same thing year to year. Like I don't think that remains that way. I think they ultimately
But isn't that how the 4 team has been working though? They've been rotating who's been hosting those games.
Yeah, kind of. But like the Rose Bowl is still like a championship game, right? Like it's not a. I mean, because there's only the championship and then there's the national championship, right?
Yeah, well, the semifinals and the championship. So the Rose Bowl was, but it wasn't always, right? When a couple years ago, it was just a regular bowl game.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I thought the Rose Bowl was always part of it now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
That was just every year. Yeah. All I remember.
It's
weird, man.
Like I would imagine the first couple years of it's going to be weird, right? As they iron out some kinks, but there's no way that remains that way. One, sponsors aren't going to love, especially if a smaller school sneaks in to the 12, right? Because they had a good year. They're not going to love that as being one of their bowl games. Like they just ticket sales.
It's almost unavoidable, man. I mean, the article the same article.
The Rose Bowl was every 3 years. So it wasn't part of the playoff every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't even notice. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I didn't either.
It's weird because I think it's in the article I sent you guys that if they had the 12-team playoff this year, what it would look like. And somebody took a complaint. You talking about Liberty playing Florida State, Ole Miss to be at Georgia, Penn State to be Ohio State, and Missouri be playing Oregon, and the winner of that game will be playing the number 1 seed, which would probably be Michigan. I mean, people be complaining about that one too. It's like this might give people more of a chance. I mean, you got teams like a LSU and Arizona 9-3. They in this iteration of the playoff, they'll be in the playoff.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like I don't know how much complaining you would do, right? At the end of the day, you just want to get your hat in the ring.
Football fans, brother. They find something to complain about.
You want to get your hat in the ring.
Do you want me to give you the first argument already? Oklahoma is number 12 in these rankings, right?
Sure.
And Liberty gets in over them. So there's your first argument.
No. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still going to be problems,
right? Which I think is ridiculous. By the way, I don't back that argument. If you're the third best team in your conference and you're ranked number 12 or 13, like you just don't have an argument. To me, you have the whole season to prove something. So I'm not advocating for Oklahoma. I'm just telling you where it's going to come from.
No. I'm with you. The thing is when it's 4 teams and you have 5 power conferences, the argument's obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Like just on its face, you're like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. But if you go to
Stop
12,
introducing math, Bo. That's the problem. Stop introducing math.
But if you go to 12 teams, now your argument's coming from a 2-loss team, a 3-loss team. You're like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, you have an argument because you were the 13th team, but at the same time, you were the 13th team, right? Yeah. Like it's not like you balled out all season. Like you had losses. You did things that hurt your chances to get in here. So I don't feel bad for a school that is a 2-3 loss team that you're just outside the bubble. That happens in every level of sports. When you are an undefeated team and there's 4 spots for 5 conferences, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bummer. So I like where it's going. Is there going to be arguments? Of course there is every year in any sport, but it's the most balanced. And I mean, let's be honest, Liberty, if they were playing, who are they going to play? Oregon? Like they get both
Florida State.
Oregon or Florida State. I mean, they probably would have had a little bit better chance against Florida State since, nobody showed up to play. But, but I mean, had they squared off against Oregon or something like that, I mean,
we saw them against Oregon.
They did square up against Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so
that was not pretty at all.
So awful. I mean, there's going to be some bad playoff games, obviously, because you're going to have some teams in there that, probably aren't going to square up get well against the top levels of teams. Right. But again, they get their hat in the ring. So maybe they tear off, 4 good games. It happens. We've seen bad teams enter in, wild card rounds in the NFL and go on to win. So, I mean, it's definitely within the realm of possibilities. So is there going to be arguments at the lower level? Sure. But not like the arguments we have today.
Yeah, well, hope springs eternal, man. Because you get these guys winning 2 and 3 loss teams. Right now, they already feel like they're out of it because of the playoff format.
Oh, as soon as you lose one game, you're almost out of it.
Huh?
As soon as you lose one game, you're almost out of it with the 4 team.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So now it's like 2 or 3 losses. Like, wow, we still got a chance, you know?
That could affect like actual football.
Of play. I mean, we say?
The only thing I don't like is it still does end up with.
I just said it makes it like actual football.
Yeah.
Yeah. You play all the way to the end this time rather than, give out in week 6 because you lost 3 games already.
Yep.
All right. So, Harbaugh. They talk about him going to the NFL. It wouldn't shock me at this point because he got 2 offers on the table and the man didn't put pen in either one of them. I'm like, okay. I saw something that I can't find now, but isn't it amazing how you see a story now you can't find a story anymore?
Yeah,
really
they get deleted.
Yeah, I found a story about J.J. McCarthy that I can't find. I can't find anymore. There's something about him guaranteed coming back to Michigan next year. I can't find it anymore, so it's very weird how that happened. But anyway, Harbaugh
probably because he's in the transfer portal.
No, that's one thing I'm not worried about happening. I don't think he's not going to do that part. He get vilified, but
for sure,
that's another story. But Harbaugh, I guess the 2 running candidates are the Chargers and the Raiders, which I think is kind of not as tight as that because Antonio Pierce, man. He's a former Giant, and I love him anyway. Once a Giant, always a Giant, in my opinion. But, man, he earned this, man. Give that man a shot to run that team, man. So I don't even want Harbaugh's name in that because it's going to push Pierce out. It's like, it ain't right.
No,
I don't want Pierce on the street trying to find a job like the enemy would do it. I don't think it's the same. I think it's apples and oranges. He deserves to be in Las Vegas and at least get at least a few years to see what he can do out there. I think he earned that, and the players are pounding the table for him big time. So they definitely want him there. So I mean,
they played hard for him. They played hard for him. I could definitely see him going to the Chargers, though. He's got a franchise quarterback. They actually have a lot of nice pieces. If it was ran relatively well, I think they would have been a whole lot different team this year.
That GM situation is going to be a problem. They got to fix that part because I doubt very highly Harbaugh's going to just go with just anybody.
Right.
Sure.
He's going to want. I don't know if he can have a say, but I think he's going to want some kind of say in this situation. They can interview him anytime they want to because he's not on an NFL team. He's not connected to a team, so he can interview whatever he wants, which gives them the edge. And they really want him really badly. They can make a move relatively quick. But that GM situation, they got to figure that part out. Who's going to be in that spot that Harbaugh is going to want to be tied at the hip with, so to speak. No.
Well, I mean, if you're bringing in Harbaugh and you're clearing house anyway, you may let him have a vote in who they bring in there. Like he may come into that saying, "Hey, I work well with this guy," right? I don't think you should make him the GM by any means, but you need a GM that's going to listen to him because he's been coaching the kids they're going to draft. So he has a whole lot better recruiting, or scouting, I should say, a whole lot better scouting than any of the NFL scouts because he's literally coached the kids or against them. It's something that Pete Carroll was able to do in his first couple years coming into the league from SC. Is those first few drafts were awesome because he was at the college ranks. He got to watch all these guys. So Harbaugh's going to have.
I don't have any names. I don't have any names to offer. I have no idea who's even a candidate. But are you saying that it should be a well-seasoned GM or somebody kind of new to the ranks?
You're just going to need someone that can deal with Harbaugh's personality. Because although he is a great coach, that man can grade on you. So, you've watched it at every level. Like he ends up with, a little bit of a contentious personality clash the longer he's with an organization. So this is one where he's going to have to bring a guy in that works well.
He's a bulldog. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So he's going to need a guy that he works well with.
Yeah. Okay. Herb?
You asking me about like whether he's going or names involved? No. I don't have any names. I mean, it's like you said, I'd wait till after the game. It's weird to me that all these negotiations are taking place the week of the championship game or the week of the, even before the semifinal. It's like,
I hope that's not what's happening, but I hope that's not what's happening. I hope it's not that because
well, you said the first two offers were on the table. Even to me, the extension part talk is weird and distracting. So it's like they're just now firing the head coaches, right? Take a minute here. I know the Chargers' job's been open for a minute, but like you said, there's no rush. The NFL playoffs are still going. All the candidates are still on the table. Let them focus on what's going on tonight. And then everybody sit down and make an informed decision. Because as we mentioned, I think kind of last week and on other shows, tonight's game can change a lot. Michigan wins. It's open now to go. I think the negotiations change for everybody. They lose, maybe he's signing that Michigan one. So to me, he shouldn't even be thinking about it going into this game. And I would be like a little upset if he was, if I was a player and I'm thinking
while he was on suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. On his second suspension. He got his first offer on his second suspension.
Yeah.
So
is not good for that.
The extension talk makes sense though, because they had the clause in there that says, hey, you can't entertain an NFL contract, right? If you sign this. So they were trying to lock their guy up. So that one makes sense because they wanted to lock him up before all the coaches get fired and the jobs are officially open. So that extension paperwork totally made sense. The rest of it, it just feels like a distraction.
Well, so to me, Bo, that one backfired because he didn't sign it right away, which makes okay, he is considering this. And so letting that know. Now, if these were like behind closed doors and nobody knew about that part of it and they just offered this to him and he said maybe not, that's one thing. But now, and I got to think, it's college, right? Does this actually hurt recruiting or recruits sitting there in the talk in the living room and they're going, are you leaving for the NFL next year? It just seems like way too much. So that's why I think they should have waited for that one too, just because I feel like that one backfired a little. And you know how college coaches do, right? I mean, there have been coaches out there that are recruiting against Bama that tell the recruits, hey, Saban's about to leave. So I know Ohio State sitting in the living room, Ryan Day is going, Harbaugh's about to leave anyway, right? Like, I just know that these are how these things
for sure.
Work. So I just feel like that part of the extension backfired on them, and it didn't go the way they wanted that to go.
Well, and to your point there, if there is more talk about him visiting the Chargers, stuff like that, you're going to see commits drop off. You're going to see commits be like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to go anywhere else. Like,
right.
All right. So this little chat, we don't have to stay here long, but the little chat about the Eagles, all the commentators are trying to figure out what's wrong with the Eagles. This team was, 10 and 3, I think, or 10 and 1 when they started.
Yeah, 10 and 1, and then
like 5 out of their last 6 with the loss to a Big Blue yesterday, which is really crazy. Talking about leaks in the locker room, like this is so this Young and the Restless. What's going on out here? So this is like I said, I'm good with the mayhem in the organization. It doesn't make me sad. I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? But any thoughts about this? You got to see this as a potential impact in this playoff run that they're in. They're playing the Bucks, and he might not even be picking them to win that game. So I don't know. This is going to be a weird situation. What are you guys thinking about that? If anything, if not, we can keep on moving. It's not a big deal. But what do you think?
No, I think the Eagles are in trouble. Coming down the stretch here, they went 1-4 or 1-5, something like that. Like they have not played good football.
Right.
So yeah, if you're an Eagles fan, you got to be worried about what you're seeing because that defense hasn't shown up at all. And they got absolutely smacked against the Giants, right? A game that everybody thought they were going to roll through. So and it's not.
I don't know if we lost him there for a second, or is that just on my end?
No, it's on his end.
Okay, so just to kind of pick up that.
Had a full complement of players coming in.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. You didn't hear anything you said. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now I had the all of a sudden the buffering wheels popped up. I'm like, here we go.
He's like
no, that seems right. That should be the thumbnail. Me trying to lick my ear, Yeah. So, but you got to be really worried if you are an Eagles fan because they had their full complement of players. They haven't played good defense. So, I don't know if you can take them to go beat the Bucks, honestly. Right? The Bucks have played good football.
Say something good about Baker Mayfield.
Man, I'm trying. I'm stuttering a little bit. But no, he's actually played. He's played great football, especially as the year has gone on. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
What'd you say?
Hey, every quarterback has that 1 year, right? So, no, I mean,
blind squirrel. That's what you said,
right?
Oh, wow!
That's that broken clock is right twice a day. No, at the end of the day, he's played great football, so I can't fault him there. Like he's got that team rolling. But no, I mean the biggest thing about the Eagles is there's definitely something off. Some of it clearly looks like it's a just chemistry around the team. Now, some of that is probably because they're losing. Obviously, that heightens any kind of issues you're having just because everybody's frustrated. That's one of those scenarios where winning cures all, right? Yeah. If they can get on a run, then you're going to see those things kind of fade. But I mean, again, as an Eagles fan, you got to be really worried coming in that you potentially go one and done.
Yeah. The line right now is the Eagles by 2.5, and I couldn't fault anybody for taking Tampa Bay at home. But if I told you that like a month ago, you'd have been like, "Oh no, Eagles, -7." And it's funny, their record's 11-6, right? Same as Kansas City. So both the Super Bowl teams end up with the same record, but it's how they got there. Kansas City has not looked great, but they've kind of up and down all year. The Eagles started 10-1 and fell off a cliff. Now, if they had just played this way all year and had some up and down and came to the end of the season, we might think different. But you can't end the season like this, and your defense cannot stop anybody. It doesn't even matter the team, the tempo, the skilled players. If the Eagles are holding the lead late in the game, they're losing it. And that's kind of how this is. And the offense isn't in sync enough to win you the games anymore. It's just like sometimes I'll follow them on CBS Sports and see like the exact commentators, and even Eagles fans are like, what's going on? Like, can we run the ball a little bit more? Like, what is that play call? Like, oh, that was terrible. It's just like the whole organization from the fans to, I guess somebody called out the guy selling popcorn. Like, it's like everything looks bad over there. So I don't know.
Well,
I would not be surprised to see them lose.
There's a lot of problems. Security. I mean, they got all kind of issues.
And AJ Brown got hurt, right?
Yeah,
he did.
So I mean, that's a huge hit for this team.
Yeah. And I don't think we know if he was.
He's organizing team building trips.
Yeah,
he just got on the team last year. Did he come from the Titans last year? Right? Hadn't he been like about a year? He's organizing team building trips. He is.
Well, but see, here's the thing. He went silent for like a month, and then came out. He's already organized 2 trips. He got hurt. I don't know if he was well enough to go back in the game because I think they pull all their starters at halftime when they realize they suck. But if he is hurt, they're definitely done. So they might be done anyway.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah. And you wouldn't take them over like if they had to go to Detroit, go to San Francisco, go to Dallas. Like you're not taking them over any of those games. So
no, I agree.
Don't sleep on Tampa Bay though. Don't sleep on Tampa Bay. You do that, you're gonna get bounced.
Oh, I think they're not playing well enough to be a favorite in this game. To be honest, I was expecting like Tampa Bay -2.5.
Let's check out some comments. Good morning, Mom. She's in the high, always representing us, Feather Free Birds, and she also says "Go Dogs." Not shocking, man. I expected that. Okay, that's cool. One half of the Herb and Raj podcast every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. EST on your favorite YouTube channel, the Herb and Raj podcast. He said, "Good morning." Obligatory roll tide, which is kind of customary here. And he's picking Washington, 35-21.
See, that spread is surprising to me because that means that defense has to play better than it has all season.
Yeah. Even like the Texas game started to trend that way and Texas came back. So that's why I wouldn't think it would ever be that big. So
I don't know if Rogers is trying to just hurt me. I'm not quite sure what this is all about, but that's
it's everything about your power rankings. That's what it was.
No, I had Dolphins at 3. You should be thanking me, pal. All right, so there you go. All right, so we got a comment about the GM question that we had. Now, Ed Dodds, I know a little bit about him. I know he has a connection to Harbaugh, and I know that the Raiders were thinking about him. So I really hate this idea because what we talked about a little earlier with Antonio Pierce. You bring in Dodds and Harbaugh. If that happens, they have a connection. They know each other. They work well together. But Pierce is on the outside looking in, so I hate that with a passion. I don't want that to happen. So hopefully that does not take place. tried it in Los Angeles, maybe it'll work out better than go Michigan. Thank you for somebody actually seeing the light in all of this. Thank you.
That's my friend Vicky. I've known her since I was like 18. So she's out in Michigan, and so shout out to her for tuning in. Also, she's going to have a family podcast coming out this year.
Sweet. Yeah. Share it with us when you get a chance. And thank you, Vicky. We appreciate you jumping in, and thank you, and go blue. All right, coaching carousel. We don't have a lot of time to stay on this, so we just talk about two things. Arthur Smith got fired yesterday. Ron Rivera is about to get fired sometime this morning.
Yep.
So that leaves the Raiders, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Chargers as the 4 teams that have coaching availability, I guess.
It's supposed to be that Belichick gets released today as well.
They're going to have a conversation, but I'm pretty sure it's going to mean he's going to bounce. I doubt he's coming back for a 25th year. I don't see it happen. I think McConnell was safe in Michigan. In Minnesota. I think Dennis Allen has played himself into another year, which is like surprising. I didn't expect the Saints to do what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I'm kind of up in the air on that.
I don't think he's getting fired. I don't think Allen's getting fired this year.
I feel like that's a coin flip. Because, I mean, they did really underperform with that talent. Because when they were not doing great and Kamara was still not on the team yet, you kind of get a pass there, right? Because that takes a huge element of your team away. But they lost a lot of games once he was back.
Yep.
And so that's where, I mean, yeah, they finished with a couple of wins, and, that last win was big. But when you look at the body of work over the season, that's where I think he could definitely still get fired, because they should have been able to win with the roster they had. They should have been able to win that division going away.
Yeah,
because nothing else in that division was ready to win, and they had a team that was, veterans that know what they're doing and are, all Pro Bowl caliber guys all over that roster. And instead, they did what they did.
All right, so you're saying it's 50-50, you think?
Yeah. I mean, I still think he's in trouble. He may not get fired today, but he may still get fired.
Yeah. If they look at the whole body of work, I think he's gone. And I don't think there's anybody who's actually going to defend him staying.
So whatever they do in the playoffs, no matter what they do in the playoffs, he still stays.
The Saints aren't in the playoffs.
Saints missed it, right?
No, I said playoffs.
Playoffs?
Talking about playoffs? That's not in the playoffs. Okay.
No, Tampa Bay to lose yesterday also for them to still make it.
No, they needed so much help.
The Bucks
they needed Tampa to lose. They needed the entire league to lose.
So right now, sitting here right now, they're not in the playoffs. They didn't win the South. His job is not safe still. Yep. In your opinion. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Well, so if
you're looking at the
Tampa
roster.
Bay had lost, they would have won the division. They'd have been 9-8 versus 8-9. So that was their only. So sitting there rooting for Carolina on your last day is probably not the best place to.
The other way the Saints could have got there is if Green Bay lost, Seattle lost, and the Vikings lost. So basically, if everybody lost, they get it.
Yeah, that's where you don't want to be at.
Right.
You want to hope everybody
we have a shot. It's like, do you though?
Yeah. All right. So before we get into the wild card matchups and even the games that we saw yesterday, which were full of backups everywhere for the most part.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys an individual question about the NFL heading into the NFL draft. Okay. Now, this is only because our teams are not in it. So the reason why we've been doing this. If you guys are playing, I would have been pestering you with this question, but because that's not the case. I know Herb is kind of leans toward the Titans in the NFL. Bo's a clear Seahawks fan. I root for Big Blue. What is your favorite team going to do in the first round? You can pick 3 players that your team can pick that's going to make you happy. I don't mean like moderately happy. I mean like I'm going to be ecstatic about the pick that my team made. If you don't use 3 players, don't use. If you just have 1, if you have 2, it's totally fine. Or who's that going to be for you? What player is going to be make you super happy, jump out of your seat, shouting and cheering that you got this player or these players in the NFL draft in the first round? The Titans pick 7th, I believe. The Giants are at 5, and the Seahawks are at 16.
Go ahead, Herb.
Okay, so I will preface this by saying Derrick Henry's about to leave the Titans, so they're not going to have my love anymore. I won't be rooting for that team. The only 2 T-shirts I bought NFL are Philly and the Texans. So those are the 2 teams I would like to see win. But I did go look up stuff for Tennessee on the way out. I think they're going to go with Levis at quarterback, and they've already invested enough capital in quarterback for the last 2 drafts. So it looks like line is going to be the first thing, and then maybe another pass catcher second to give Levis a little bit more help there. I think Spears, I think the way they like Spears stepped up, running back. So that'll help lessen the blow of Derrick Henry. And I even saw an article kind of floated out there that maybe he stays on a cheap deal just to retire a Titan. Not sure about that part. But the lineman from Notre Dame, and I know that's never like a sexy pick or whatever, but they've got a Titan.
Joe Alt?
Yeah, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. I saw somebody just mock Latham from Alabama, and they was like, that's way too high. I gave it an F. So I don't really care. I'm not tied to linemen, but whoever they pick, I think that's the first thing to do. Shore up the line a little bit more on offense. So defense played well at times. So I'm not sure the defense goes first. I'd love to see 2 offensive picks, line and then wide receiver.
Do you need to pick for Eagles and the Texans? Is that what you need to do?
No, I mean, I guess they'll wait till that shakes out. But for the Eagles, I'm picking like a whole team. So maybe the whole defense. Like the secondary just looked trash, towards the end there. I think they made some good picks, defensive line and linebacker, by picking everybody from Georgia. So I'd make some picks in the secondary if I'm the Eagles. That'd be my first thing. I think they've also made several investments on offense, so I feel like maybe play call and execution is the problem on offense. So I'd go defense for the Eagles as well.
All right. How about you, Bo?
The Texans just have a young team all over, man. They overachieve, so I don't know where they're going next. So
yeah,
they can do it. They can do anything. I would go ahead and reinforce that line. Help Stroud out.
Yeah, and that's never a bad pick, I think. Yeah,
you got somebody that's marginal because there's a lot of O-line guys. I wish it was my turn, but I don't envy a position that I'm in draft wise. I don't envy this spot. I don't want to really be at 5. I'll tell you why in a bit. But Seahawks, how you feeling, brother? Yeah, 16.
Yeah. So, I mean, like if they wanted to go after Penix, that's probably about where he'd be, right? I don't know that they do, though. So this is a team that loves to build defense. And they go into next year with 19 players going up as free agents. And in that, we have, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 of those 19 are all on the defensive side of the ball. And 5 of them are linebackers. So those are areas they're going to have to address. And so although it's not necessarily the sexy thing to go after, you have some massive holes that are about to form on the defensive side of the ball. And so as much as people are going to be like, oh, get another receiver and get a quarterback and all of this, it's like, okay, well, I mean, Geno can win if he can stay upright. So they're going to go into next year. Their line should be healthy. They have a couple of running backs. Their receiving trio is great. So, I mean, they have to shore up what became one of the worst defenses in the league, certainly against the run. So it's not necessarily the sexy answer, but they need defensive line and linebackers.
Yeah. Will you be surprised to randomly take another running back just because that seems like what they do now?
So I would. I would, just because I think they can get DJ Dallas back relatively cheap, and because you have, Walker going into his 3rd year, you're going to have Charbonnet going into his 2nd year. The guys are cheap. You have enough of them in the room that I think you're fine there. But I would be surprised if they did it again. But especially considering they have no defense.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, our situation is like I don't envy this being in this spot for a few reasons. One, because we have an established left tackle in Thomas, and it's not that he's perfect or anything, but we've invested a lot in him, and he's done well for us. Unlike the tackle on the other side, so there's a lot of old tackles. There's a lot of tackles in this first round, like especially in the top 10 is a lot of them. So if you need a tackle, it would behoove you to get into the top 10 because there's so many sitting there. Top 15, a lot of QBs. If you want a QB that's not named Quinn Ewers, you better get into the top 15.
Bo Nix will be in the second round.
He's gonna. I don't know.
And Penix has been like all over the place as far as drafts go.
So
I don't have a level of confidence that you do because look at what's going on with Denver. He's going to fall right in line with where Nix is going to be at. I doubt very highly they're going to bypass him to go get another piece. Not with the quarterback situation being what it is. You can't even call who the guy is behind Russell Wilson, but they don't trust him like that.
Stidham?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they don't trust him like that. So
they do like Stidham though, because
not that much.
Sean Payton brought him in. He wanted Stidham to start.
Yeah, but they said that same thing about the Raiders situation.
I don't believe that for a minute. Yeah. I don't care what he said. I don't believe that for a minute. If Nix falls to them, they're going to take that man.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's not second round. The Broncos picking 14 or 15. They're not letting that man pass by. No way.
That just seems high for Bo Nix, though.
That's high for Nix. They get somebody else if they're still on the table.
They said the same thing about Penix, too. They've been mocking him in the second round since the mock draft started.
Yeah, so I had Penix was right around 20, which is why I said if Seattle wanted him at 16, they could get him, right?
Yeah. And he's in Washington. I mean, it's not a hard leap.
If they wanted him, they could go get him. But he's still going to be a kind of mid to late first round. And then Bo Nix is, he's probably late first round, early second round. I mean, that's kind of where I've had him for, 2 months.
Yeah.
Look at the quarterback needy team. They're gonna get what they need. And after that, it thins out real big time. After that, it's not great. I don't like who we are. Go ahead.
Are y'all drafting a wide receiver also though? And I say that because we have conversations we've had earlier this year. Giants.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It might happen with this pick.
First pick.
Yeah, that's not what I'm advocating. I'm just saying that could potentially happen. We're not replacing Thomas. We got to replace Neal, but the Giants are acting like they like him and want to give him another shot. It's a bunch of nonsense. I hope they're lying to me. Please lie to me because I don't want that. But I don't know. I think Joe Alt is more of a left tackle than a right tackle. I think it is. Or I'm getting mixed up.
I think it's left, right?
Fashanu was a left tackle, and Alt could be both. I'm getting mixed up. I think if that's the case, I would take Alt here because I want to replace Neal as fast as I can. Let Neal be a backup and maybe learn something back there somehow. I don't know how that works, but that line need to be reinforced. We got multiple issues. We got multiple lineman issues, especially on the guard side too. We got to fix that. Wide receiver, we got to fix that part. Even tight end, we got to fix that too. Edge rusher, got to fix that too. It's like I'm just going on and on. Interior defensive lineman, got to fix that too. Deputy A position, fix that too. Coaching, fix that too. Waterboy,
probably a running back.
Everybody getting fixed, man. Cheerleaders, fix that too. We need new cheerleaders.
Low.
Wow. We need everything.
So you guys can try.
I need to do a Google search. New York Giants cheerleaders.
So do you guys address your running back issue in the draft then?
Maybe later. I don't even know what we're going to do. Sitting here right now, I can't even tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what I think we should do. Because if it's, let's put it like this.
Because you only
really
get
the time that Barkley is healthy enough to give me confidence. When he's in there and he's going, it's great.
Sure.
When he's not healthy, it's not great. And it's like
you get Saquon for 10 to 12 games. That's what you get.
Yeah, and it's like if that's good enough in this current NFL product, okay, that's great. Go ahead and give him a deal. But for me, I'm kind of torn.
Right.
I can see either one happening, and I won't come on the show and I won't cry about it. If he stays, I won't cry about it. If he leaves, I won't cry about it. I'm like, okay, great. We can do something. So if that second scenario happens, who we getting in the draft? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm in this particular draft, I'm weak on running back. Yeah. I don't know who's there. So I'm not prepared for. We can do that for another show coming up, but I have no idea. But we had 5. I ain't through with the spot. We can go neighbors right here. The LSU product, pretty. I mean, he's not only a speedy guy, but he don't mind the contact. He's physical. I like that part. We can go Bowers right here. Bowers probably gonna be sitting right there.
My favorite part of what you're laying out is all the things you said you need to fix. I didn't realize you guys had 45 draft picks.
No, we don't. We only have a few. We probably got about 8 or 9. It's like we got to try to find a way to solve all that stuff and then UDFA and that kind of stuff.
And you're gonna watch the draft, and it's gonna be the Jets pick, and the Giants guy's gonna run over, knock them over, and read whatever he wants.
I mean, yeah, I'm going through it. We can get gangster. Put the mask on and the gun and go ahead and take those draft picks.
The chair in the back. Bam.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Pile driver, take the card. Cash in, money in the bank.
I'll tell you this, I'll tune into the draft if that happens. Like,
yeah, right.
You will have my undivided attention.
Why not? That can happen. I mean, then and on the quarterback side, not only is Neighbors there, probably should be at 5. Joe Alt should be there. If he plays both sides, that's a nice pick for us. Bowers is going to be there. We need tight end help. I love Bellinger, but we can use some help there. And I don't trust Waller to be healthy.
Right.
And of course, Pennick, the Duns are going to be a little low, so we had to dip down a little lower than we normally would. I'm not sure the Giants would do that. But if we want a quarterback, we're going to have to dip a little bit further if we want to have somebody like a Penix, because I don't think anybody else is going to be there unless something changes in the top 4 picks, which it could happen. But if everybody's picking quarterbacks with the top 4 picks, we're not going to have a shot at getting anybody but Penix. We had to dip down and go a little lower. So I don't like the position that we're in at 5, but we should get some real talent there. But we got a lot of work to do. Plenty. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some of that probably depends on what it is the Bears are actually going to do, right? Yeah. I mean, because could the top couple teams be taking QBs? Sure. But at the same time, maybe the new coach that ultimately goes to the Bears, because let's be honest, Eberflus is probably on his way out also later today.
I don't know. I think he saved the job.
Man, I hope not. At least if you're a Bears fan.
Firing folks, bro. Dang.
I think you saved the job, man.
Exactly. You're fired, and you're fired. Everybody's fired.
Am I on the chopping block, Bo, or am I good? Like, should I still?
No. I don't fire people on this show.
Okay.
All right. So really, I don't know who you're talking about. There's a couple of moves you probably can catch up on this. The Panthers fired their GM like just now, like a few minutes ago. Fired their GM about an hour ago. The Commanders, you guys heard of Bob Myers? Remember him from the NBA?
Yep.
Remember that name? Yeah, the Commanders hired him.
Talking about for the GM search for the new regime that they're bringing in, right?
Yeah, the commander just hired him to help run their franchise. So that just happened less than an hour.
I think there was 2 names in there. There was him and another GM that they were going to do to help simplify everything. So
yeah, and now the Commanders are interested in Jim Harbaugh. I'm like, he's not doing that. You can go ahead and take him off your list. He ain't trying to go out there.
Yep.
He don't see JJ and Sam Howard. Just trust me on that one.
Yeah,
keep looking. But
all right. And Rivera is officially out.
Excelente. Finally. All right. So Raj, what happened to Herb and Raj podcast has a question for us. Chances that Miami beats KC? We're going into the wild card matchup. So great question, right on time, brother. What are the chances? What do you guys think? What are the chances that they beat KC?
Good. KC is looking
in KC's current state. Yep. What are you thinking?
KC has not looked good this year. For Miami, it comes down to health. Who's out there, who's available. Are they getting Waddle back? Is that secondary? Are they still banged up? So that's what I would go with. But I'd say, they played them tough. I know that was overseas, but I don't really feel like going to KC is any different for them. I think these are probably 2 closely matched teams, and I'd almost flip a coin. Which team executes better, in crunch time, really. Both of these teams have looked floundering in the middle of the year, so I think it's a toss-up.
Miami, I think, has the inside track as long as they get some of their guys back.
Right.
Obviously, health is a huge issue for them. They had like 15 guys on the injury report going into this last week. So, they have to, figure their way through that. But as far as who's playing better football at the moment, Miami easily. So
who do you like?
I take Miami in that. Yeah, I take Miami in this.
Yeah. We had our little preseason NFL deal that we were doing on multiple shows on the platform. And I didn't have high hopes for KC, and this is what I foresaw. This is what I saw. I felt like they relied too much on the Mahomes magic, and they didn't solve problems at wide receiver number one. They moved people out that helped them kind of do what Mahomes did best, and they tried to piece it together with duct tape and bubble gum, and it just didn't work. Rod, you're going to be happy about this, man. I think that we have a clean sweep. I think that the Dolphins should beat KC. I wouldn't go put your house on the market.
No,
but I think because you be living with Herb, I think that the Dolphins have
I don't have room for twins.
To be fair, if they were fixing it with duct tape and bubble gum,
he didn't say his brother. He said the twins. He didn't say nothing about his brother. He's like, I don't have room for the twins.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, if they were fixing it with duct tape and bubble gum, they should have put it on Tony's hand so he could catch something.
Wow, Bo with the random shots this morning. That man has a family. Okay, presumably.
Wow.
And he still does, even if he can't catch a football.
Alrighty, bro. We're gonna come back to those comments that you got out there.
I feel like Tony lined up off sides to distract everybody from the fact that he drops all the passes.
No,
I don't know if doing something else dumb is.
I didn't say it was a good strategy, just a strategy.
It's not that.
I mean, it did overshadow all the drops, though, because you're just like, how do you line up off sides?
Yeah,
you're staring at the football.
Does Miami even have a first round pick?
I think so.
I think there's only 3 teams that don't have a first. I don't remember what they are offhand, though. I had a chart.
Yeah, Miami does. They're projected to be in the 24 range right now.
Because Rogers sharing some picks, I'll share them in the comments at the end of the show.
For guys I don't think he's getting any of those 3 players.
Ain't going to be there by the time they get there.
No,
they're going to be there.
Those are wish list players. So,
copy that. Yeah. All right. Any quick thoughts about the wild card matches that we got? You want to jump into some games? What are you thinking?
I mean, obviously the story with the Rams and the Lions going up against each other, that's everything the NFL could have hoped for, right? Because that's a great storyline for their media machine. But
homecoming.
Absolutely. For both quarterbacks. Should be a fun game to watch. It'll mean more to Goff than it does to Stafford since Stafford went on to get a ring. But it'll be a fun game. Plus, the 2 teams are playing well. So that should actually be a really just solid football game overall also.
Okay. Well, let me ask this then, since we coming up against it right now, and rather than break down games like we normally do, let me ask you guys a question. What game outcome, one, shocked you the most, or it was the outcome that you actually expected to happen? So that's a kind of a 2-part question then. What game outcome shocked you the most, and what game outcome did you actually expect to happen, and that's exactly what took place? Let's do it like that.
I mean, the one that shocked me was the Eagles just getting absolutely smacked. I didn't see that one coming through. Kudos to your Giants, though. They bowled out.
So fast, though. That's what got me. Like if you had told me the Giants were going to win, I'd have been like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that for sure. But the game was over so fast, I was like, red zone's on, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it seemed like they even shut it down for the whole rest of the game and still won. So
I'm shocked by that one too. That's not my answer, but I'm shocked by that one as well. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I was traveling, so I couldn't see anything. I was driving from Tennessee to home. I couldn't even see anything. I'm like, tell me what happened. Y'all gotta tell me. I don't even know what happened. I mean, it's just a sign of what we can potentially be, or was this an anomaly? I mean, I don't even know the answer to none of those questions. I'm just like, all I heard was that they were just getting smashed, and notifications on my phone, popping up, touchdown, field goal. I'm like, what? Wow.
I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but it seemed like big play after big play. It didn't even seem like drives or short fields or turnovers. It just seemed like they started their 20. There's a 30 or 40 yard pass play, 30 or 40 yard run, and then it was just like every highlight that came up was a long play. So there wasn't drives. It wasn't.
Was Waller involved? I mean, help me out. I saw his name pop up in my notification.
No, I think what it was is the Eagles' defense wasn't involved.
Basically.
Okay.
I mean, they just didn't play defense all day. Like it was, and to be honest, they really haven't for weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's That one was crazy. The one that I think was exactly what I thought it would be was the Texans versus the Colts. I thought that was going to be a battle all night and come down to a bad play. I didn't think it was just going to be an out-and-out drop. I thought it was going to be like a Minshew interception or something. But that drop, turnover on downs, ends the game. But that game mostly went the way I thought it would go.
Yeah, a rough way. And then it turns out it ends up being for the division that game too. So
exactly.
That leads me to my next one. The Titans. I mean, do I give the Titans more credit? I knew they were going to play tough in this game. But for Jacksonville, the way you started out this year and the way the division was falling apart at the time and still having a winning record in the division and then missing the playoffs completely. I mean, that's just got to be, you got to have some changes in Jacksonville, especially after what was expected. Yeah.
Because they started 8-3, right? Like they were killing
on fire. Yeah. But I think some of the cracks
talk about the ultimate story of peaking too soon.
Yeah. The Eagles want a word.
Yeah. I mean, true. But at least they were. At least the Eagles, they were winning ugly. Like Jacksonville was winning, right? Yeah. Like they were winning games. The Eagles were like backing into wins because something dumb would happen right at the end of a game. So for them to fall off, you kind of saw it coming. You're like, yeah, I mean, they haven't played great, but Jacksonville, like they came out, playing really good football, and then I don't know, I guess forgot how to play football. I don't know, it was weird. Down the stretch, man, they were bad.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it kind of surprises me that nobody's talking about the coaching aspect of that. They're looking at Lawrence, got all these pictures and memes of him, but like nobody talking about the coaching part because this seems to be a coaching issue because they've been up and down all the time. They're going to the game, they're going to the CNF games, Monday Night Football game that they should have won outright, and they struggled. They looked bad, and this game was probably one of the worst of them all. And it's like Peterson's name is probably not even going to come up.
So the thing that's funny is I would put more pressure on their DC than Peterson because the defense is where they've really had a problem, right? The offense has put up points. They
had problems on both sides, man. That offense was
well. To that point, real quick. So I texted a Jags fan this morning. I was like, big changes for the offseason. He said, I really don't know, but I hope there's one at OC. So that's his first things out of his mouth too as well. So. Not that says anybody's right or wrong, but that's the first thing that came out of his mouth was he's expecting.
That's warranted.
I think Peterson's probably fine, but the DC and OC are probably both gone.
Yeah, I'll be watching him in 2024 because he doesn't get a pass in this one. I was kind of shocked by the Saints and the Falcons, only because I didn't think the Saints would be able to do it like this.
Right.
It's a divisional matchup. I thought the Falcons would be playing with some kind of level of pride at the very least. I mean, the Falcons can't even figure out this running game thing. Bijan is like a stud. They can't figure that thing out for nothing. That man had 28 yards. I mean, they can't figure that thing out for nothing. And Derek Carr out here throwing 4 touchdowns. I'm like, is this the real Saints or is this like some kind of imposter? I mean,
so that's the Saints you thought you were getting, though.
Right.
You thought that. This is the first time we've seen them do this the whole season. It's like interesting. But I guess it's kind of like a half answer because it's not really the shocker of them all, but that was a shocking one to me. Philly and the Eagles, that was funny to me. I'm like, I just knew they would come out and load up on us and do what they normally do. And oh my God, that's not at all what happened. Giants. I haven't seen the Giants in my notifications with TD next to it at this rate all year long. I'm like, is something wrong with the app? You kept saying Giants TD. I'm like, is this working right? I was shaking the phone. Is this right?
Which app was that? Because it obviously wasn't CBS Sports.
They don't come through for me. So it still wasn't that app. It was the Score app, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, CBS Sports didn't come. They didn't come through for Black whatsoever. I kind of with the. I don't want to do the Siraj. I'm just avoid that part. I'm pick something else. But Texans and the Colts. I kind of feel like that was what I expected to happen. I didn't think that no offense to Gardner Minshew, I didn't think they had a chance in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know how close it was. I didn't watch it, but
it was a close game.
Oh yeah, like you said, it came down to a drop.
It came down to a drop.
Fourth down.
Colts were going to win.
Yeah,
the Texans, man, they were
yeah.
The Texans, they got so many good things.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful for what Coach Ryans did, man. I'm happy for him, man, because I didn't think that people thought he would do this, and he came inside there, man, and he did it, man. Took that team that probably didn't have any right to be in the playoffs, and they played hard all year long. They had a couple of hiccups. I think 2 games. I think
when you like, if you go back to watch the game, the deciding factor in this game ultimately was the Texans' first throw of the game, right? Because it wasn't necessarily great football from that point on, but they threw a single shot 75-yard touchdown, and from then on, like, it was a battle back and forth. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, like, if the Colts would have played good defense just on the first play, really, it could have been a very different game. And then, of course, obviously, if the guy doesn't drop the ball, he had room to run. I mean, he was going to catch the ball as a first down anyway, but he had another 15 yards. Like, they were going to go score. So this, it was a fun game to watch because it was a battle the whole time.
So happy for the Texans, man. They
agreed.
Absolutely.
I don't like using the word deserve in sports, but I'm so glad that they got a chance to be here and be able to do that. Hope they went shopping the playoffs, man, because that's a really good team.
And I mentioned this too, like, because they had traded away their first round. I guess they have another one from Cleveland later, but I've been rooting for them hard just because of Will Anderson is one of the reasons why they traded to get that pick. So I didn't want them to get a top 5 pick and everybody like down on that trade. So the fact that they moved it up, and the Cardinals probably hated it watching them win after trading for that pick. But no, I mean, it's just a great job winning the division, going from last to first. I mean, it's just a great job all year. Well, now they're underdogs to Cleveland coming into the first round, so that would be interesting. But great job.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to send a shout out to Rios on one of the draft shows. After they did the first 2 picks, he was like, "Oh, we're going to win our division." And I mean, he's a Texans fan, so I was just like, I mean, let's calm down a little bit. I had them as a 7-win team, right?
Right.
And I mean, they outperformed. They won their division. He was right. Hey, just shout out to him. He got that one right.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not asking for a shout out. I'm okay if you don't do that, but we had that little preseason NFL stuff, and what I say about the Texans. Folks was laughing at me and whatnot, doing sound effects on their show or whatnot because of my comment about the Texans. I said they're gonna win. They're gonna be. I guess we were all asked if we had a hot take or some kind of a shocking take or whatever it was, and I said the Texans
were going to be
I said Texans will be an 8 or 9 win team, and folks wasn't hearing that kind of stuff. And now these boys in the playoffs, man, that's like kissing into Coach Ryans, and so that's all. Okay,
no, I mean,
go ahead, Coach.
I'm with you there. I got some heat for saying they were a 7-win team.
Heat from who?
Those pregame, those draft shows. A lot of those guys thought they were going to be a 3-win team.
I didn't think that part. Gosh, he has too much talent for that. Will Anderson, like Herb just mentioned, him alone. No. All right, so we're gonna close the show out with some comments. They're all from the same person, and this person has set themselves up to get. This person has set themselves up to get mocked. This is not me. We're gonna just read and talk about the comments as they have been given. You asked for this, bro. Okay, this is on you. This is not Herb. This is not Bo. This is not me. This is you. This is your comments. Okay. It's all you.
Raj is he's logging out right now.
No. Don't go nowhere. So you stay right there and take all this heat you're about to get. Okay. This is fine. We think that Belichick's going to be gone. I guess in Rogers' estimation, when Belichick is gone, it's going to help his team be in a better position. I guess why he's so happy.
I mean, he's already gone now. So your team was in a better position this year. They just didn't close. Right. And the alert that I got that says Bill Belichick says he's receptive to letting someone else handle personnel duties if he stays with the Patriots.
Oh, interesting. Snap. Okay. So there may
obviously don't know how true that is. Yeah.
Quick thought, man. And I mean real quick. Do you like that idea?
No.
I mean, he can still coach. So, if you had somebody else
I ain't asking you that. I'm saying, do you like him to still stay there and just give the GM duties up?
No.
Bo?
I mean, I'd be interested to see how that works.
Okay.
Bo saying that is not a fan of the team.
Yeah, from the dumpster fire, like, because he's been the guy, for him to have to listen to somebody. I mean, that could be hilarious to watch.
I wouldn't want to be the GM in that place, because then I would think he has the ear of the owner, and I feel like there's going to be sometimes my decisions get jumped. So
exactly,
I wouldn't like it for that reason.
Well, and having watched Belichick all these years, whatever you want to do, he's going to do his own thing anyway. So again, just from the dumpster fire end of it, like, I think it'd be entertaining to watch. Do I think it works?
Definitely. That's why I said, if you're not a fan of the team, I think you'll enjoy it. I think that's where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
When you go draft that quarterback and Bill benches him in game 2 and plays whoever he wants, like, you're going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe this is a question for a different show, but I'm just wondering, who do you want to have as coaches? A bunch of young guys that are innovative, or the older guys who have been seasoned and they got, that's a different conversation. I think that applies to this situation too, but we don't have time to talk about it though. All right.
Just in general, probably bring in a younger guy.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, like across the league, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I think
that era of coaches on their way out.
Yeah.
You would think that, but they're about to get another extension. Tua led the league in passing.
They recycle coaches
in receiving yards, and Mostert led the league in rushing touchdowns. Our prize, a trip to KC.
Got to finish the year, man. You got to finish the year.
Like, there's 17 games. You got to actually, like, play all of them.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what's going to bite them? Go back and win the Tennessee game, and you're not talking about this right now.
Exactly.
Who won last night?
Huh?
Who won last night? I fell asleep. Who won last night?
Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if they win the Tennessee game, they're not worried about that either, though. So
true.
And you blow a double-digit lead with 2 minutes left. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
My fans also need help in the secondary, so Kool-Aid would greatly help.
And that goes along with his top 3. I don't think any of the 4 people he's mentioned though will still be there when the Dolphins pick.
No, the only Kool-Aid that Dolphins are going to be around for is, the big guy that busts through the wall. Oh yeah!
How long have you been waiting to make that joke, Bo?
I actually just saw it pop up. I wasn't reading the comments, but it came to me, so
Oh man! Well, you want to have all Alabama players on the Dolphins? That's not realistic, man.
Okay. No, his first pick was actually Brock Bowers. That's what he's been talking about forever.
Not at this pick. Not here. Not here. Not at 24th.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying who he likes, period. None of those players are going to be available at 24. He was just saying this before the season started. He would love to have Brock Bowers.
Here's the rest of the list. They had 24. Thanks for sharing that, Raj. All right, 3 possible picks for Miami. Okay. We got to talk about the term possible. We got to discuss that part. I think that's kind of important to all this. Joe Alt, he's not getting out of the top 10.
No.
No, they'd have to trade up.
Yeah,
they'd have to trade up to get any of these guys.
Brock Bowers is probably going to be top 5 or 6 in this draft. I would think. I don't really see him getting past us if he's there, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we need.
I don't think any of these guys will be around at 24. I'd be shocked if they're around at like 15. I think for most of them. So,
I don't know where Dallas Turner is. Where's Dallas Turner projected to be at? Do you know? Have you heard anything?
The last mock draft, I had him at 11 to the Vikings.
He definitely wasn't in the top 10 from what I can see, but he definitely wasn't at 24 either.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I was hoping that Rod would give me some realistic thoughts about who they would pick at 24. That's not none of those.
They're going to have to make a move if they want to get any of those guys. Like, they'll have to find a way to move up. You see them doing that though? No, not really. At 24 is that spot where you're almost better off to trade back, get some more draft capital, because you're not going to get the guy you want anyway. So go back, because the guys at the end of the first round and the guys at the mid to top second round are the same guys, right? So at that point, you trade back, you let another team get who it is they think they want, and you end up with a couple picks. Yeah, a couple more picks to help fill in some gaps. So the guys that you want, if you're at 24, that's not a real thing. We've watched the Hawks do this exact format for years, right? They get into the first round, which means you're a mid-20s pick, which means none of the guys that you really want are there, and it's too high to pick some of the other guys that are on your board. So you trade back, you get some more picks. Yep. I mean, that's just the formula for that.
Copy that. Yeah, Rod, I think that there's a guy named Graham Barton that y'all might end up getting. That might be more you guys are speed. He's an awesome guard out of Duke. I think he is sure you guys line up really good. I think that might be where you probably would be more in that range. The guys you're talking about. I think they're going to do.
Yeah, and you also have this Raj and I do college, but we're still mostly SEC. So our knowledge of specific players from around the country is not going to be as great as maybe where it needs to be when it comes draft time. So you're going to see more SEC players on his list, not just because we favor SEC, but that's, these are the players we see in and out, every week versus, you have to actually search for a player. But we have this and the SEC network, and, we actually get to see more of these games versus everyone else from around the country. So our list is definitely going to be biased towards SEC players. So I think his list of what you should take from his list is the positions he's looking at, offensive line, defensive. Yeah. Tight end is just kind of a luxury pick if you're going to have Hill and Waddle, because they had a receiving tight end, with Gesicki, and they basically got rid of him. So
yeah,
and then
they got tight end as one of their needs for the draft. So tight end is
which is funny. They just let that one go, and then what they needed, I guess, Brock Bowers would be great because it'd be a cheap tight end for the next 3 years while you're paying everybody, and I think they just didn't want to pay Gesicki, but he already wore out his welcome in the next stop anyway. So.
Yeah. Jared Verse, the guy that Miami could be thinking about. He should be in that area. Florida State guy. Awesome pass rusher. I mean, have more on the other side where Christian Wilkins is on the other side. They can have a nice little pass rush tandem going on there, but I don't know if that's Miami's flavor or not. But okay. So any closing thoughts about the show, man? Great job as usual, guys. Heavy play we had. We didn't get through all the stuff that we had.
Never do.
I guess maybe next week we can just talk about some playoff predictions and kind of go a little bit deeper next week. But any closing thoughts? I got some more comments coming in from people that I didn't realize. So let's do that real quick. All right. Kind of feel bad for the Dolphins. So many injuries at a key time. Teresa, you are totally spot on. Yep. I think Raj shares your pain too, because he had high hopes for the team, and they got the division, right? So that's one thing that was a big stumbling block that teams like the Patriots would let them do for years. So they
didn't.
Yeah, they didn't win the division.
That's the division. The Bills did.
Dolphins didn't win the Bills got it?
That's why he's saying they have to go to KC.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they fell completely apart. Yeah.
So who's the leader? The Bills?
Yeah. Oh. That's why he's saying that they have to go to KC because they didn't win the division. And that's why I was saying, had they not blown that game to the Titans, they'd still be a game up on the Bills. Or I guess
exactly.
But, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And last comment for the day, I think. Bring on the heat. I'm here for it. LOL. Well, okay. We didn't want to bring any heat. We wanted to just kind of let you know that those things that we said were possible weren't really possible. We were trying to just help you there. But okay. Why we love you. You know that. We love you, man. And I'm rooting for the Dolphins against the Chiefs, brother, just so you know that. So you can clearly hear it from me. So you hear me. There's no power ranking today. I'm just saying the Dolphins should beat the Chiefs. I hope that they do. I'm excited for you guys. All right. I don't know about Herb and Bo. They ain't saying nothing, but I'm letting you know for me.
No, I did earlier. I think the Dolphins can win this game, but they do need some of their guys back.
You think Raj heard you though?
Oh, I got you. Yeah, no, I think the Dolphins can absolutely win that game. I think they're playing better football, but they do need some of their guys back.
Copy that. Herbo? Any closing thoughts, man?
Just good luck to both of you guys tonight. Hope you all enjoy the game. Thinking about picking up a gardening show or something on HGTV tonight. So I'll miss the game, but I'm sure you guys will let me know about it in the group chat. So.
Well,
I've also got to clean out the garage
right
too. So I've got so much.
Well,
stuff.
actually, I have some things that I'm gonna have to do tonight. I would love to just push that stuff out and stay focused on URM, but I don't know if I can do that. So I might be coming in late.
So I'm going to watch
the championship game.
Yeah, it's not a plan. It's something I enjoy. I'm trying to work it out. But now,
I'm definitely going to be watching the game. In fact, if you are here in Western Washington, I'm going to go watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings in Linwood. Come out and say hi.
Oh, I didn't know other places actually were going to be still showing the game tonight. I thought it would just be on like PBS or something. I was hoping.
PBS.
Well,
solid 7. See that? I'll take that dad joke.
Oh man!
True story. That was one of our Christmas gifts to Rod. He has a dad jokes button. Yeah. He hits it and gets a dad joke.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome. Great show, guys. Thanks again for jumping in with your expertise. It's been a fun show, and we had fun. We went longer than we normally do, and it's all good. I love it. Starting 2024 off with a bang, man. But tell everybody where they can find you guys, man, and we're going to go ahead and shut it down.
Go ahead, Herb.
At Raj Herb. That's on Twitter or whatever y'all want to call it.
Underscore, baby.
Yeah. And then check us out on YouTube, Herb Raj Podcast on YouTube, where we post all our videos, including our championship game breakdown and picks for tonight, if you want to see that. And, the usual places, Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of thing for the podcast.
Yep. And then, of course, for me, you can see me here every Monday morning. You can see us all together again for the Wednesday wrap-up, Wednesday morning, same time. And on my YouTube channel, at Football-Talk. And, of course, on Roku, now 5 days a week.
Awesome. Say bye-bye to the people, y'all. Love you.